In 2001, television changed forever. Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks brought the true story of Easy Company to the screen in Band of Brothers, a miniseries that made audiences feel the weight of every battle and every moment of brotherhood forged in combat. This wasn't just another war drama. It was a tribute to ordinary men who became heroes, redefining what television could achieve. The series captured hearts worldwide and continues to inspire new generations. But behind the scenes, there's a story just as extraordinary. From brutal training camps to Hollywood unknowns to emotional reunions on Normandy beaches, Band of Brothers holds secrets that even diehard fans have never discovered. Number 1, boot camp that broke and bonded the cast. Before the cameras rolled, the actors faced their own battle. They were thrown into a grueling 10-day military boot camp that would strip away their Hollywood comfort and forge them into something closer to real soldiers. This wasn't method acting. It was survival. Marine veteran Captain Dale Dye designed the experience to be as authentic and punishing as possible. The cast marched for miles with heavy packs, slept in muddy foxholes, and survived on military rations. They were woken at dawn by explosions, drilled until exhaustion set in and pushed beyond what they thought they could endure. Spielberg and Hanks knew that genuine camaraderie couldn't be faked. By the time filming began, the actors had lived through something together, shared misery and small victories, and formed bonds that would translate into the authentic brotherhood viewers saw on screen. The boot camp didn't just prepare them for their roles. It made them into Easy Company. Number 2, the price tag that changed television. Television had never seen anything like this. HBO invested over $125 million into Band of Brothers, a budget so massive that it shocked the entertainment industry. In 2001, that kind of money was reserved for blockbuster films, not a television miniseries. But this wasn't reckless spending. It was a calculated revolution. Every dollar went toward achieving a level of realism that television had never attempted. Film-quality cameras captured sweeping battle sequences. Massive sets recreated European towns in painstaking detail, and visual effects brought the chaos of war to life with stunning accuracy. The gamble paid off spectacularly. Band of Brothers proved that television could compete with cinema, and that premium content justified premium budgets. The miniseries opened the door for the golden age of television that followed, inspiring ambitious projects from Pacific to Game of Thrones. Number 3, One Village, 12 Battlefields. Imagine transforming the same streets into a dozen different war zones. That's exactly what happened on the massive 12 acres set built in Hatfield, England. This sprawling production facility became the chameleon of World War II Europe, morphing from French villages to Belgian towns to German strongholds. The production design team worked magic with this single location. Buildings were constructed to be modular, allowing walls to be rearranged, facades to be changed, and entire streetscapes to be redesigned between shoots. One week the set represented Normandy. The next it became Bastonia. This ingenious approach solved a massive logistical challenge. Instead of traveling across Europe or building multiple sets, the production could create authentical-looking locations while saving both time and money. The attention to detail was so precise that viewers never suspected they were watching the same streets repeatedly transformed. Number 4, Real Guns, Real Danger. The weapons in Band of Brothers weren't replicas or props. Many were authentic World War II firearms, fully functional and deadly. This decision elevated the realism to a level rarely seen in television. But it also introduced genuine danger to every scene involving combat. The production brought in military armorers and safety experts who worked around the clock to ensure no accidents occurred. Cast members underwent extensive weapons training, learning not just how to hold and fire period-accurate rifles and machine guns, but how to respect their lethal potential. Every gun was inspected before and after use, and safety protocols were enforced with military precision. Spielberg and Hanks insisted on this authenticity because they knew fake weapons would undermine the story. The weight of a real M1 Garand, the kick of actual recoil, the sound of genuine gunfire. These elements made the actors move and react like soldiers, not performers. Number 5. Snow wasn't cold, it was paper. The brutal winter battle at Bastonia remains one of the most memorable episodes, with soldiers freezing in foxholes surrounded by endless snow. But that iconic frozen landscape wasn't filmed outdoors in winter. It was created inside a sound stage using thousands of pounds of shredded paper. The production team faced a significant challenge: how to recreate the deadly cold of the Ardennes forest without actually subjecting the cast and crew to hypothermia. White paper was shredded and spread across the soundstage floor, while special lighting techniques and camera filters transformed it into convincing snow. What made this fabricated winter so effective was the obsessive attention to every visual detail. The paper had the right texture to crunch underfoot. Lighting designers used blue tones to suggest bitter cold, and the actors' performances completed the deception. Audiences felt the freezing misery of Bastonia without realizing they were watching a carefully controlled indoor set. Number 6. When truth was tweaked for drama. Not everything you saw on screen happened exactly as history recorded it. The creators of Band of Brothers made deliberate choices to condense events, shift timelines, and combine characters to serve the narrative. These weren't mistakes. They were calculated decisions to maintain dramatic momentum while honoring the broader truth. Some battle sequences compressed days of fighting into single episodes. Certain soldiers' experiences were merged into composite characters to avoid overwhelming viewers with too many names and faces. Key moments were rearranged to build emotional arcs that television audiences could follow across 10 episodes. The real veterans of Easy Company had mixed feelings about these changes. Some understood the necessities of adaptation, recognizing that their story needed shaping to reach millions of viewers. Ultimately, most agreed that while individual facts might have shifted, the emotional truth, the fear, the brotherhood, the sacrifice remained powerfully intact. Number 7. Faces you'd never recognized back then. Long before they became household names, several future superstars appeared in Band of Brothers in roles so small that viewers easily missed them. These early performances were stepping stones in careers that would eventually dominate Hollywood's biggest productions. Tom Hardy played a minor character before becoming Bane in The Dark Knight Rises and leading countless action films. Michael Fassbender appeared in a supporting role years before his turns as Magneto in the X-Men franchise. James McAvoy, who would later play Professor X alongside Fassbender, also had a brief appearance. The miniseries became an unexpected launching pad for British talent. Casting directors took notice of these performances, and the actors gained valuable experience working on a production of unprecedented scale. Looking back, it's remarkable to see so much future star power concentrated in one project, all of them paying their dues before conquering cinema. Number 8. Jeep's wartime comeback promotion. Marketing and history collided in one of television's earliest major brand partnerships. HBO teamed with Jeep to create a promotional campaign that leveraged the miniseries' patriotic themes and the car maker's own World War II heritage. It was advertising that actually made sense. Jeep's origins traced directly back to the war, when the company produced rugged military vehicles that became legendary for their durability on the battlefield. The brand had drifted from those roots over the decades, but Band of Brothers offered a perfect opportunity to reconnect with that heritage. The campaign featured vintage-style commercials and commemorative editions that emphasized the shared values of service and reliability. This partnership demonstrated how brands could align with premium content in ways that enhanced rather than diminished the viewing experience. The collaboration felt organic, because Jeep genuinely belonged to the World War II story. Number 9. Veterans kept the crew honest. The real survivors of Easy Company didn't just inspire the series. They visited the set, watched the filming, and made sure every detail rang true. Their presence transformed the production from a Hollywood recreation into something far more sacred and accountable. These men walked through the sets, examined the uniforms, observed the actors, and offered corrections when something felt wrong. A helmet worn incorrectly, a tactical movement that didn't match their training, a line of dialogue that missed the mark. The veterans caught it all. The cast and crew felt enormous pressure, knowing the real heroes were watching. The emotional weight of these visits affected everyone involved. Actors found themselves choking up during conversations with the men they portrayed, hearing first-hand stories that never made it into history books. The production became a collaboration between Hollywood and history, with the veterans serving as both consultants and conscience. Number 10. Uniforms that told real stories. Every uniform in Band of Brothers was a carefully constructed historical document. Costume designers didn't just create period-appropriate clothing. They crafted each piece to reflect the actual experiences of individual soldiers, matching real military records down to the smallest insignia and weathering pattern. The team researched unit patches, rank insignia, and equipment loadouts with obsessive precision. They studied photographs of Easy Company members to see how their gear was worn after months of combat. Then they artificially aged each costume, pre-wearing fabric to create authentic scuffs, tears, and stains. This attention to detail extended beyond what cameras could even capture. Soldiers carried personal items that matched their characters' backgrounds. These uniforms weren't costumes. They were time machines that transported performers into bodies of real men, helping them understand the physical burden of being a paratrooper in World War II. More than 2 decades after it aired, the impact continues. New generations discover the series and connect with its themes. The real Easy Company veterans have nearly all passed away now, but their story lives on through this powerful testament. The brotherhood didn't end when the war did. It became immortal through the show that honored them so completely. Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks created something more than entertainment. They gave voice to veterans, revolutionized television production, and created a work that continues to inspire audiences worldwide. When you combine historical truth with artistic excellence and approach real heroes with respect, you create something timeless. The real Easy Company veterans have nearly all passed away now, but their legacy endures. Band of Brothers didn't just capture history, it became history, a testament to what humans can achieve when they stand together. If you enjoyed these hidden truths, hit that like button and subscribe. Which secret changed how you see Band of Brothers? Let us know in the comments.